And members, I'm supporting Senator Michel's amendment, I think, or a resolution. I think this is appropriate to send this bill back. And with all due respect to my colleague, Senator Murphy, I don't believe this is about jobs. Bonding bills are about spending public money for the public good, for things that need to be done. It can only be done through bonding bills. We've heard a lot of talk in the short years I've been here about these bonding bills and all the jobs that have been created, and I just think if we would have added up all those jobs that were created over the past 7 years, we'd need to import people to come to Minnesota to do them. I don't know how many thousands of jobs have been created over the past. Where did they go? I don't think they're. I just think this is a fiction, because we have to recognize that when we take and spend money as a state, we are first taking that money out of the private sector. And so we're not creating jobs, because we are destroying jobs that are in the private sector to take that money out in the first place. And we need to remember that. It's appropriate for government to take money for things that need to be done and can only be done by government. And I wouldn't argue that there aren't things that need to be done and ought to be done, but not to this scope. Senator Cohen, you mentioned earlier that the problem with the stimulus bill was that maybe it wasn't large enough, and I guess if that's true, maybe we should have a bonding bill that's 2 or 3 times the size that we have today. If your argument is sound that we need to have more and more spending to create an economic climate of recovery, why are we just stopping at $1 billion here? Why don't we blow the doors off, spend 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 billion, whatever the amount is you think will get the economy back? I think the logic is flawed, and I don't think that makes any sense at all. And Mr. President, I just have a question for Senator Langseth, if he would answer. Senator Langseth, you in your presentation, you talked about one of the things that is the merit of this bill is that it leverages federal dollars. That by us choosing to spend some money, that we get some multiple, in some cases, or matching funds from the federal government to do projects or to do things. Can you tell us what is the amount of money that will come from the federal government in total for this bill that we are going to take advantage of because we passed this bill that you've proposed?
Senator Langseth.
Mr. Chairman, Senator, no, I don't have the total on this. I mentioned the one, just the one alone in Duluth on the airport was $42 or $43 million. A number of those bridges, particularly those that are line itemed, like $140 million bridge, an awful lot of that. I don't know what the percentage is of federal there, but it's a very large percent of that. Some of the smaller bridges, same way. So, and even that approximately $50 million that's up for grabs, sort of for the local units for bridges. There's federal money in all of that. So, no, we haven't added it up, but there's a lot of federal money in this bill.
Mr. President,
Senator Hann.
And thank you, Senator Langseth, for that. And my point, members, is that whatever the amount is, the federal government doesn't have this money. Where are they going to get it from? Do we have a big pile of money that the federal government hasn't spent yet? And now we're going to say we're going to put another obligation on the federal government to bring money to the state of Minnesota to do things. Where are they going to get that money? So in addition to Senator Michel's point of adding to the debt that we are assuming in this state, we are also saying we're going to add to the federal debt by spending money that we don't have. Members, we need to get some perspective on this. Let's pass a bonding bill to do the things that need to be done that only the state can and ought to do, and let's not use this as some kind of a jobs bill that really has to steal jobs from the private sector to do it. Let's not use this as some kind of a reward our constituents or our district bill for political points in an election year. Let's do the right thing and send this bill back to committee and rethink this.